occiput be stable. Now let's worry about C1 and I'll go from there, alright? So I'm going to flex it. I'm going to left rotate it, because I'm going to push C1 in that direction. So I don't want the occiput back, because I'll be marrying C1. So I'll rotate it to the left. Now that leaves me at free now to choose whether I want to do left side bending or right side bending, doesn't it? Is there any advantage in either one?
Right looks easier in terms of your grip.
Yeah, it is. Right side bend is definitely easier. So I think I'll do that. So what I'm doing then is a congruent lock on there. Okay. So I want to see one there. Now the obvious thing to do now is find the angle, find the end foot, and thrust down, and C1. So your question is what's stabilising C2? Nothing. Alright? Just a matter of inertia. Speed and inertia. That seems simple enough, doesn't it? Looks impressive. Really doesn't
If
it?
you bend right, does it take alar slack too?
Slacking off the right ailer, tighten up the left ailer. So hang on, if I'm tightening up the left ailer and I rotate C1 to the left, I slacken the ailer off, which is fine. So I'm taking the strain off the ailer. Yeah, I'm fine. The only thing I'm not doing is stabilising C2. And the question is, do I really need to? And the answer is, I don't think so. So I'm not doing this fast enough. So are you okay with that? So C1, we'll lock it, flex it, side bend it, left rotate it, onto C, that's AO joint, onto C1 and thrust anteriorly and inferiorly. Okay, let's do it again. That looked impressive, didn't it? Anything inside the looks impressive.
Bad luck.
Okay, up a little bit too. And down.
Laying all comfortable like this, they're gonna relax.
Alright, so there's our lock, flex, left side bend, sorry, right side bend, left rotate, there, find C1 and thrust on it. Okay?
You rotated the opposite direction?
Left rotation.
And right side bend. And right side bend.
Right side bending, left rotation. The reason I'm going to do right rotation is because I bring the occiput back. So when I thrust C1, this is already at the end of its range, isn't it? Flexion. So I've already got it flexed. So if I do that, I tend to unflex it, which is going to safeguard that joint. Makes sense? Could have done that, couldn't I? Side bend left, rotate left. Could have done an incongruent lock, but you're right. That would have been a lot more awkward to do that. Flex there, there, and actually I do feel awkward. But there's no real reason why you couldn't do that. It just feels awkward too. But I think probably the key thing here is the left rotation. Now, if I had done an extension lock, so the flexion lock, done right side bending, then my rotation would have had to have been that way. Because in that position, I've moved the occiput as far forward as I can and extend it, so it's at the extension range. If I bring it back that way, I'll take that. The extension would give me a bit more movement, so manipulating this isn't going to take it from my original. Does that make sense?
So we want to get it at the end.
No, I don't. Now,
Avoid
C1,
getting
2
it.
does not want to be at the end of a range. Yeah. Now in flexion I'm okay with it. If I do that, I've moved it away from flexion, haven't I, on this side. Is that okay or not? AO joint.
C1, 2 or
A1,
AO?
AO joint.
AO.
If I do that and that, I've just flexed this left joint. So if I do that now, I've just flexed this one more, but not this one. And this is the one where the thrust is going to hit. So I've moved, this one's away from its flexion. So I've flexed it. That doesn't really matter. Look, I've flexed it, side bent right. So I've flexed this joint, don't I?
Yes.
Now, that means that I could either do that or that. It doesn't really matter. Because as soon as I've done that, this joint is away from its flexion range anyway. And by me pushing C1 forwards, this will tend to flex it. Well, I've already moved it away from flexion. That makes sense. Then if I turn the head a bit more, I'll move it further away. Is that okay?
You're saying it's better to get it at the end of the range or
Look,
worse?
If this joint, the AO joint,
Yes,
is in that position, fully flexed,
yes.
and then I come through onto the C1 underneath it and do that with it, when it's already fully flexed, I do that, make it
Putting
more
it farther.
flexed. So if I could set this up so that it's not flexed, like we flex it, side bend it towards this side, and it will do that.
Swan.
So now when I thrust this forward again, it's got room to be thrust. At the same time, it's tightened up because I've locked it. It's got to be an incongruent lock, hasn't it? As far as that joint's concerned. Not for the segment, but for that joint. If I'd locked this in extension instead of a flexion lock, if I'd done that with it, and then done that, this is now extended. So this one's an absolute must that I've got to do. So if I was doing an extension loss, I'd have to rotate it this way.
That's only for the anterior, inferior hypotenuse.
Yeah, so we're only talking about this joint for this moment. So this will vary every time you do it, depending on what you're doing, and how you set up the look, the way you rotate it or side bend it. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, do that then.